Zoon Ahmed Khan joins me now to discuss where China fits in the global economic picture. She is a research fellow at the Center for China and Globalization. I want to ask you what you think will be the biggest headline coming out of Davos when it comes to China.
Firstly, Elaine, thank you for having me. And I think let me start with saying that, of course, the World Economic Forum has been a platform that can, especially in a time when the world has been facing a pandemic, we have the Ukraine conflict as well, and the deglobalization trends are not only affecting the developed economies, but they're also immensely affecting developing economies. So this is definitely a moment where we need to come together and discuss issues of global significance and consider the voices and the needs of a vast majority of the world's people. So I'm not sure what could be the biggest headline coming out of this, but with respect to China, I think it's firstly very important to understand that China has over the years consistently, through example, exhibited that even growth with development and with sustainability is not only possible, but has also at the same time, through the BRI, the recent Global Development Initiative, and through the various dialogues and the MOUs and the commitments with countries all over the world, has shown that this is a priority that we all need to stick to. So I think, of course, at this point, when we look at China's own commitment to climate change, to a greener economy, China has, as your viewers may already know, stated that the carbon peak and carbon neutrality goals will be 2030 and 2060. So that's obviously coming from the biggest economy in the world that has contributed in the past decade 30% to the global growth, and has contributed at the same time the most to our sustainable development goals, which are what should be the priority of global leaders at large. And at the same time, this is an effort, a nationwide effort, which is also not only increasing its own ability to contribute to climate change, to contribute to greener ways forward, but is also the biggest exporter and the country that's encouraging, especially I would say, developing countries. So I think maybe my view is, I think one of the things that perhaps this forum can focus on is how China has made it possible, despite the various challenges that we are facing. And how I think the fact that at this period we see a lot of mixed signals, a lot of division, a lot of the commitment to inclusive development during COVID was actually much less than it should have been from many developed countries. But China remained consistent on that goal. So I hope that this forum can highlight what all China has achieved, the commitments that have been made, and also focus on how developing countries can benefit from this and how that shift in mindset is really needed. So this is my personal hope for the forum.
So, I mean, you mentioned the challenges, but the challenges are unprecedented, and a lot of eyes around the world are watching how China continues to handle its economy amid this pandemic. There are reports of government stimulus in the form of tax relief in the billions. Will that be enough?
We cannot say right now. I think the fact is that, of course, the global projections have already deteriorated in the last few months. So as opposed to 4.8% now, the prediction, according to the World Economic Forum's own report for China's own domestic growth, is 4.4%. And obviously, as we were already recovering, trying to recover, thinking of innovative ways to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic, poverty globally is on the rise, but in China, of course, these factors, the sustainability and socioeconomic factors have been prioritized. So I think China is always, if we observe China's policy making, if we observe even how the BRI and other initiatives that China is significantly a part of have evolved, it's always been about creative problem solving and engaging the Chinese society. So will it be enough? What is enough at this point? What should our expectations be in the coming years? I think all of that will need to be reconsidered, recalibrated. But that said, I think one thing that people tend to at least around me, people tend to underestimate or not focus on enough is the significance of Chinese society's role in the targets that the government has set itself to meet. So of course, we see a proliferation and increase in the number of people contributing to goals regarding climate change and also innovative solutions to be able to make sure that we are able to move forward consistently, taking the society along and sustainably. So What's enough, we do not know. But what I do know is that at this point, we need to think about when it even comes, you said unprecedented. I think COVID-19 made this forum, could have made this unprecedented, but then we have that conflict going on. And at this point, I do not see not enough developed countries pushing for an active end to the conflict. And they do not perhaps realize that it is the developing countries that are the most vulnerable and suffering the most. I think at this point, China's position and that neutral position on these issues, which is becoming easier, in my view, for countries to take a neutral position and push for end to conflicts. Also because of China's position, I hope that if that can be successful in some sense, maybe not just China, but all countries can meet the targets, the short and medium term targets that they have. Let's hope to set.
Zoon, let's hope they do that in Davos. Let's hope that's the beginning. Thank you so much for joining us from Beijing.